everybody, and welcome back to a Troupe of Players, an actual play podcast where we play as a troupe many games.
Yep.
Welcome to the table, everyone. I hope you're having a great evening. Tati, how are you this evening?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
I'm really glad. Are you excited to have Gwen punch some things, preferably in the face?
I am very excited for that to happen. I love that for her.
I think it's very sexy of Gwen to wake up every morning and doesn't have any choice other than violence.
The definition of choosing violence.
No, there's not a choice. She has one mode, and it's violence. Mike, do you think you're going to be able to rein her in?
No.
Never.
Absolutely not, Mike says. Atlas is powerless. Would you say if someone asks you why Gwen does what she does and you're not able to provide a correct answer, do you think it would be narratively appropriate to say that Atlas shrugs?
Get out of here.
I'm sorry. I honestly, even referencing Ayn Rand, I don't think is cool.
See, here's a quick story for the podcast. I hate those books, not because I hate their politics, but because I was never in the gifted reading program, and those were the books that my friends were reading, and I was reading shit like, I don't fucking remember, Hatchet.
Wait, they had kids read that in the gifted program? What kind of fucking school did you go to?
No.
Look, I'm going to be honest. Aside from objectivism being actively harmful to literally everything about life, I'm just mad because Atlas Shrugged is such a fucking incredible title. Like, I'm just angry about that. That, like, not only is this awful, but the title is so good. Anyways, for that pun, I think Suri would probably throw me off the ship and send me plummeting below. What do you think, Alex?
You wouldn't make it after that. It'd be a quick overhaul.
Tyler, do you think Travis would try and save me?
No. You kidding? Get out of here.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding? If only because I ruined the sink and for no other reason.
we all ruined the sink.
I'll get you.
So, coming up in the plot line, Megan, do you think Luna is, like, excited now that she's found the book? Is she nervous? What do you think? Where's her head at?
Probably nervous, I think, to finally get secrets after... I'm sorry, finally get answers to secrets after all these years.
For so long. Is she, like, when she found out that Soul had coded it in a dead language, was that like a, oh, you kind of thing, like, who else but my brother? Or was it more of a, are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you being absolutely serious with me right now?
Probably both.
A little bit of both. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, also, most important piece of news for today. As of episode 3, we will not be using Fabula Ultima in order to tell this story. Now, please keep in mind, this is absolutely nothing to do with Fabula as a game. Fabula is an absolutely incredible game. I am still on Patreon for it. I absolutely believe in it. I think this is going to be a really, really special game, and I definitely think you should pick it up. However, for the purposes of this podcast and for the purposes of what we were trying to do, Fabula just wasn't optimized. We wound up only using a fraction of the information on the character sheet, and for the story that we wanted to tell, we actually, in some ways, found this to be very limiting. So just for the sake of telling a good story, and for our end, we are switching over to the Genesys role-playing game that was originally released by Fantasy Flight Games. I now believe is under the brand of Edge Studios. But either way, this is my favorite role-playing game. I absolutely love it. We are going to be playing with some house rules and some bit of loosey-goosey stuff. So you Genesys rules purists may grit your teeth at points, but hopefully the story will be good enough that you're able to overlook our transgressions. So, Sharon, my beautiful wife, whom I love with all my heart, do you think Cassandra being connected to the teacher and being able to look into all things, do you think she knows that we've changed games? Like, does she know that there's been a shift, like, in the fabric of reality, considering she's connected to a god of knowledge and truth?
What a question.
That's indeed a loaded question.
Continuity's sake, I'm gonna cut the meta right here and say no.
Not even like a moment where she wakes up and she kind of like sneezes and then she like feels like a universal shift and is like, huh, that's weird. And then she just continues on with her day.
You heard her. No meta.
I still want to say no.
All right. Yes, dear. Well, just to give everybody a brief recap on last time on A Troupe of Players, we received a coded journal, as previously mentioned, in a dead language that should have some links to a grand conspiracy somehow related to why the water level suddenly rose and then suddenly stopped, damaging a lot of the world. This journal, of course, being shown to Cassandra in a vision from the teacher that led her directly here. However, we also discovered that the largest airship manufacturer in the world, owned by Gwen's father, is manufacturing what appears to be a war fleet, and that's going to go very poorly. So, with hopes of being able to decode the journal from the help of one Barnabas Glass, an old work associate? Peer?
Atlas White would unironically call him a friend, but he would also kind of shrug. I hate that I just said that. But he would also kind of shrug after he would say that. Like, he does think of Barnabas Glass very fondly, but he's also like, I know what it's like to be in a room with Barnabas Glass, and it's a lot.
There is a lot of being in a room with Barnabas Glass. Okay, so yeah, we're going to Barnabas Glass. We're going to get this journal translated and help breaking this code because Cassandra is able to read this language. However, it is still encoded, and that's just a lot of work for two people, even a professional information broker and a divine prophet. And that's not all. There were two pieces of maybe a bit more malicious news. One of them may be malicious. One of them definitely malicious. Maybe malicious is the fact that Gwen Godwin has been contacted by some sort of entity where your agendas for now align, and he encouraged you to talk to your mentor Atlas White about Leviathan. I am absolutely going to be having a lore reason not to do that character voice because that shredded my chords last time, and my vocal teacher advised me not to do it. So, little peek behind the curtain there, folks. And, of course, we are all being transported on the Scarlet Wren, captained by Suriel Hawk, and kept in the air by Travis Evans. And unfortunately, you have a unwanted guest in the form of a stowed away Zelda Blint, a bounty hunter who has taken a contract on Gwen.
Everyone wants a piece of me.
See, that's why Gwen wakes up and starts punching.
Can't get a break.
Honestly, at this point, it's a self-defense reflex. Like, if you would... All right. So, yeah, we're going to pick right up. We find ourselves, y'all are in the air. You have successfully left Coveland, and you are going on your way north to eventually get to Ydraria. You are currently in the nation of Yedvatan. Yes, you have a question, Sharon.
So, how long have we been flying for?
3 days.
Oh my god, she's been stowing away on this tiny ship for 3 days.
Yes, she's very, very
Where
good at
is
her
she
job.
Going to the bathroom?
That is an excellent question. She would never tell. A lady never tells.
It's called the poop deck for a reason.
Is this like those stories of those people that live in their walls? Oh my god.
How far is the journey, or how many days total?
You're still a couple of days.
Okay.
At this point, to give like a comparable thing, you're flying from the equivalent of maybe India to the UK. Like, this is a while. This is a trip. And you are, you're not exactly in an airplane right now.
Right.
So this is taking some time. And you know what? Even that's probably bad. You've got another... I don't know why I say things without having definitive information. You've still got another 4 days on your trip.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, you guys are heading across the nation, and thus far it's been pretty smooth sailing, all things considered. Ships behaving wonderfully as you're going through. There's, not been any bad weather or anything. No one's had to pull up the shroud to protect against even any, flying monsters or anything. It has been very chill overall, just a very pleasant 3 days. So it's about sundown, and one thing that is important about the setting and I'm filling you in at the same time as our audience, is night is when the stronger monsters come out. So these creatures, again, are referred to as blighted. They are either transformed humans or animal or plant life that have been infected by energy from the maelstrom. And the stronger ones have a tendency to come out at night and attack. So it's not safe to keep flying the ship at night, as a general rule, unless someone is willing to stay up all 24 hours and keep the ship at battle readiness because something might come. So as a general rule, the ship lands at night, and you bring up the shroud, and the shroud is running all night, just as like a protective energy field. And then you're able to get started when the morning comes. So the sun is beginning to set. It's not dusk right now. The sun's beginning to set. But it's been really smooth sailing. Everything has been pretty darn chill. So tell me where you find yourselves. What's going on?
So I definitely want to talk to Travis for a hot sec.
Oh?
Yeah. I want to talk to Travis. I want to be like, the way I see it is Travis is like in the engine room or whatever.
Let me paint a picture for you.
Okay,
I'm in the engine room, and I'm singing a song that goes something like, "Oh, the Evans way is to bang on the pipes, bang on the pipes, bang on the pipes. Oh, the Evans way is to bang on the pipes, and then you kill all the mice. Kill all the mice." It's something along those lines.
You see me, and I'm just kind of like, I have that look on my face where I'm like, oh shit, this is the guy who's fixing the whole ship. But anyway, I walk in and I'm like, hey, Travis.
I wasn't singing.
I didn't hear a thing.
Great.
Hey, I just wanted to talk to you. I wanted to see how you were doing since, since we left Coveland, and you and Reggie had that little bit of a, you and Cassandra had that little bit of a, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm in my comfort place, I guess you could say now, and it's water under the bridge now. But it had to be said, and I said it. I'm not ashamed of it.
And I'm glad that you feel like you're in a spot where you can say that kind of stuff. I hope you know that I value you and all the stuff that you do for us and this ship, and I just want to make sure there's no volatile energy between us. That'll leave us alive,
I pat you on the shoulder, and I'm like, "You're getting soft on me now? Is that what's happening?"
And I say, "Here's a secret. I've always been soft."
Atlas White, confirmed soft boy.
We're gonna have to fix that. I don't do too well with softies, but that's all right.
I laugh. Ha 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 ha.
Just like that.
Canon. That's Atlas's wife.
Mike, you're an actor.
I don't have a problem with you. I think you're a pretty all right guy from what I've seen of you so far. I mean, I don't really, know you that well, but I mean, that was just my 2 cents with the way that Reggie handled that whole childish, I don't know. Let's just forget it, right? Shall we?
I just nod and I go, I'm glad it's under the bridge.
Do you want to help me bang on these pipes?
I was hoping you were going to ask me.
All right, well, let me show you a thing or two. And I sort of just throw a bunch of tools at you, expecting you to catch them because I'm so enamored with the piping and the intricacies of the engine. And I just sort of start I like a dad asking his son to help him with something, completely forgets you're even there and asks you to hold the tools for me.
And you know what? I'm here for it. I like information enough that you just telling me yeah, and this pipe goes here and it makes this fluid go here and that fluid does this. I'm like, that's cool. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, so I assume that's the end of that scene, unless there was something else you guys wanted to go through.
No,
just banging on some pipes.
You don't want to show Travis going the intricacies of the pipes and the hitting thereof? Or are we okay?
I wish me as a person could have the terminology, you know? So I'm just going to make shit up. So I'm just going to be like, this is the fizzy wig that goes in the smarkle, and then the smarkle pushes the exhaust out of the bow bee. And then, you know.
Oh, that's really dope. But then how does the Schmizzlewaz get into the Wizardoo?
You're already talking about Schmitzelwaz? My boy!
Oh, God. I regret asking. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to be listening to this episode again in editing, and I'm going to actually write down these terms, and I'm going to quiz you on them later.
Oh no.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna go above deck. I assume Suri's up here because Suri's keeping this beautiful bird in the air. Is anyone hanging out on top with Suri?
Yeah, Cassandra is.
I'm up there too. Gwen is definitely up there.
Excellent.
Oh, it's girls' time.
Yeah.
Is Luna up there to complete Team Girl Squad?
Sure.
It's so enthused. I love it. That was such a Wednesday Addams reaction. I'm here for it. So yeah, I'm assuming Luna's kind of keeping. Is Luna like in the crow's nest, like there, but not really like there?
Yes, I want to be up top. I want to be tall.
You're in the ship tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Suri's very focused. She's just very focused on getting us there. She is in the zone, not taking crap.
And then Luna's at the top, and she's gonna look down. She's gonna be like, "Iceberg," and then like returns to her binoculars because they're in the sky.
And Suri just rolls her eyes, which I want. Suri kind of does like a like a no, it's good.
An acknowledgement. Gwen is just staring very not anxiously. She has an angsty demeanor about her today. Sometimes she has angsty days. I think don't we all? I think it's because we're getting closer to her hometown, and I think that the distance of which she is to her father directly corresponds in nausea. So I think she's just kind of having a little bit of a moment where she's just holding over the edge of the ship, just sort of leaning over like she's looking a little sick, but it definitely looks more emotional than physical.
Cassandra's just gonna like grab her hand.
Oh, thanks.
Suri's from Yedvatan, so I do want. She's gonna start. She's like, okay, it's time to land. It's getting dark. I know where we are. We're in more of a chill place. Let's land the ship. Let's turn in for the night since it is going down.
Luna and Suri, please make a vigilance check of 1 purple. And please read out your dice results when you get them.
1 success, 1 advantage.
And Luna, what did you roll?
I got a success.
Excellent. So both of you notice, I imagine the sound of a slightly deeper firework that's from far away. Like if if you've seen a July 4th celebration or a New Year's Eve celebration, and you see a fireworks from far away, and there's kind of like that distant like boo kind of sound. Just imagine that, but a lot bassier.
Mm-hmm.
And you look over the horizon, and well, not over the horizon, but like further away near what looks to be a clearing in some woods, you see a plume of smoke, and the smoke is tinged with green and has some lightning bolts in it. This was a magical discharge. Something just detonated.
So Suriel immediately goes, she goes, Gwen, I need Atlas right now. I need you to go get Atlas. Something's going on. Probably Travis too, but he's not as important at this moment. Let's go. Come on. We gotta go.
So, Tati, how does Gwen respond to this order?
I think Gwen is just snapping out of this, sort of nauseous, spaced out state.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, looking at Captain like, is that wise? Like, what are you asking me to do exactly?
Well, do you know what that big explosion of magic was?
No.
Okay, go get someone who does.
Okay. So she just
Thank you.
runs And she just runs downstairs and just frantically, just not really understanding what was going on, thinking that, she was asking her to do something crazy or something, and then just goes down and asks Travis and Atlas.
You walk in on me and Atlas in arms singing, "Oh, the Evans way is to bang on the pipes, bang on the pipes." And then when you burst in, I go, "We weren't singing."
We were not singing.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So we have a problem. So it sounds like Captain wants to go towards a magic cloud explosion, and it does not sound like a good idea to me, but she wants me to ask if anyone knows what it is, and I have no idea what it is, so maybe if you guys come upstairs, you can tell her what it is, and hopefully also tell her that we should stay away from it.
I can do my best, and that's all I can ever be asked of.
Okay, let's go. And I just pull him up. I grab him by the arms and just pull him upstairs.
While she's doing that, I'm yelling at Luna. I'm like, "What do you see? What do you see? Anything?"
And I'm just
Quicker!
gazing through my enormous binoculars. I'm just like, there's more smoke, and now there's more green lightning, and now there's more smoke, more green lightning.
Luna, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Oh, that I should have started with that.
No, I mean, I think Luna being this kind of sassy and snarky, I think is both very in character and appropriate. So go ahead and make a perception check for me against 2 purples. Add a blue because you are using these fancy binoculars.
Okay, I got 3 advantages.
Okay, so you can't see a lot of specifics, and not because it's too far away, but just the smoke is really, really thick. But what you can see, and the lightning bolts are flashing, is you can see there are people fighting. And when I say fighting, what I really mean is there are people with weapons, and they are mostly hurting people without weapons. That's what you see.
Okay, so I'm like, it looks like there's some kind of battle going on down there. A big one.
And who's fighting?
Right now it just looks like some smoke, but I think we should prepare for something pretty dangerous.
Okay, we can do that. Yes, that's fine. All right, let's do it. We're gonna land the ship. Travis?
Oh.
So it's at this point that Atlas, Gwen, and Travis make it back on top.
Great, so I shove them towards Captain, and I say, "Here, maybe they know what's going on." Obviously not knowing that Luna had already sort of described what was going on.
Atlas, apparently there's a fight and some magic. That's pretty much all we got at the moment. Can you take a look and just see if you know what's going on with the magic portion of this?
Let me see what I can see. And I'm gonna climb up to the crow's nest so I can look through the binoculars myself.
Excellent. Mike, I am going to have you, instead of a perception check, please make a magic knowledge check, or a knowledge magic check. And you do get to add the blue, though, because you're using the Wren binoculars.
Red binoculars.
Does anybody picture these Wren binoculars as being attached to the crow's nest, at tourist destinations?
Yes.
Where over a lookout, and it's a giant.
Except it's steampunk, so there's a movable a movable mic stand where you can over your head and stuff.
3 success, 4 advantage.
Ooh, you noted
anything?
Oh yeah, I forgot to give you a difficulty check. But you know what? I'm actually gonna allow this. You would know what this is. I would only give you a 1 or 2 difficulty anyway, so we're just gonna keep this result. So here's what you know. Looking at this, the biggest differentiation between a blast of regular magic and what this is the smoke. For the amount of electricity that is going on and the amount of smoke in the air, this was not a deliberate act of magic. Something, either a piece of magitech that was maybe storing something, or a spell circle where something went very, very, very wrong, but something released an incredible amount of magical energy unexpectedly and unsafely. So whatever this was not someone throwing a spell. This was an accident, a terrible, terrible accident.
Yeah. So, I just kind of yell down, there's a good chance that there are some people who are hurt there, and a lot more than people who are actually trying to get people hurt. So I think we might want to cruise around just to see what's up.
All right.
What kind of battle is it? Can you tell just from looking?
And I start climbing down, and I'm like, it's not any kind of battle. The only thing that causes smoke and discharge like that is something that's an accident, something going wrong, possibly something like an accidental spell discharge. I just would feel a lot better if we just flew around and made sure that that if anyone's around there, that they're safe.
Yeah.
I am all right with that. I want to check with everyone, though. Even though I am the captain, I don't want us to land in something that could be detrimental.
Yeah, I thought it was just a big, magic, dangerous cloud, but if there are people down there, we should definitely go down and make sure that they're okay.
Cassandra?
Of course. We've got to help them.
Travis?
I mean...
Does it matter what he says? Come on, let's go.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
Rest in peace, Travis.
I mean, I'm all for helping others, don't get me wrong, but you are very important passengers on this voyage. Wouldn't it be dangerous to put you in the forefront of the situation?
I'm the healer of the world. Let me heal the world.
Oh?
All right, so, Cassandra, I've never heard you speak like that before, and I would like to say I'm very proud of you, and yes, we will be landing the ship.
Oh, shit. I gotta go. End the game. We're done.
Gwen's just looking at her, wide-eyed. Who are you? But amazed, very impressed.
She was an accessory to your war crimes one too many times, and I think now she's hardened and ready for war.
Yeah, so I take the helm and I say, prepare to land, bring the weapons, and we're gonna cruise in.
All right, so we're gonna cut to actually you guys closing in to where you can see what's going on. So what is happening right now is not pretty, and it is not fun. This was an assault on a caravan. And what the detonation, you can see there are bodies that are littering the area. There are dead elk that were pulling wagons. Something that's really not great is there are some kids who are now dead on the ground, and the explosion, from what you can see, was from one of the overturned wagons. And right now, from what you can see, every other wagon is either ruined and shattered or is currently on its side burning, except for one. There is one wagon that is left, and there is a man and a little girl who are next to the wagon, and the man has his hands up in the air, and he is casting a barrier spell. And around him is a group of 4 what look like mook bandits and their leader, and a small troop of 10 combat golems. And these are not big tanky ones. These are more in line in terms of appearance with the battle droids from Star Wars, the B ones, the kind of goofy ones, except these ones aren't stupid. They're not a huge threat. It's mostly you just get enough of them and you throw them at the enemy. So that's the situation. You got 10 golems, you've got 4 regular bandits, you've got 1 leader, and he's yelling, "I know it's difficult to hear me through that little bubble of yours, but we both know you can't hold that up forever. My men don't even have to keep attacking. We'll just wait until you're unconscious, and we'll just take what's left in the wagon. So, thank you. We'll be getting some tea now."
Can I either do a check for it, or just looking at it, know, or try and spot any sort of identifying clothing, sigils of any kind, marks? Are they just completely generic bandit? You wouldn't know who they're aligned with, or you understand what I'm asking? Any sort of identifying?
Yeah, they could still be part of a bandit gang. There could be some gang affiliation. Yeah, you know what? So here's what I'm gonna say. You're far away, and there's also still a lot of smoke and magic in the air. So here's what I'm gonna say. Make a knowledge underworld check against 3 purples and a black.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
No real consequences if you don't make it, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll just see what happens. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, you rolled 1 advantage. So you're not able to... So here's what the thing is. They are wearing some kind of symbol. You're too far away to tell what it is, and you're too far away, like, you would not be able to identify it. However, you can tell that all of the humans have some sort of identifying logo. They are part of some sort of greater organization.
The bandit humans?
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
So, what happens when we land? Like, do they acknowledge us?
Are you going to share that information with us at all?
Oh, yeah. Gwen?
Yeah, that's a good question. That depends on actually, that depends on Alex's question. Like, where are we right now? Are we in view? Are we in cover? Are we sneaky? Are we stealthy? Like, where are we?
That's actually an excellent question. How do you plot your approach, Captain? Do you want to be directly over them and, like, drop down? Because you could be at risk of hitting the civilians if you get too close. Airships are very big and very loud. They're kind of like helicopters in terms of what they do to a surrounding area, but bigger. You're definitely not going to be able to use your shipboard weapons, because that will just blow everything in the area to smithereens.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you want to approach this?
How big is the clearing? Like, is there space for us to land farther away and then get out and come to them, or is it too small for that to happen?
Let me put it like this. You can do one of two things the way I see it. You can either land farther away and try to rush them from outside the clearing moving into the clearing, or you can keep the ship hovering and you can do an anime drop directly into the fray.
That's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
that part. I'm not the captain, but that.
Sorry. And so with our airship, while we're circling, is any of the magic billowing away because of the way that we're circling? Any of the smoke, or is it all very condensed?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's coming from a specific wagon. The wagon detonated, and it is what is causing the smoke. But yeah, like, as you're going, it is causing the smoke to dissipate. You know, magic is able to do a lot of incredible things, but once it is in the material plane, it still obeys the laws of physics. Like, if you conjure magic fire, like, once that fire is here, it obeys the laws of thermodynamics. So, like, yeah, this is just, it's basically functionally a combination of wood smoke and accidentally conjured storm cloud. So it is being dissipated, and it's not intense enough where it would damage the ship shroud. So you're fine.
Cool. So I want us to descend, and I'm essentially going to put the ship in park while it's flying. I want to, like...
Are we doing it sneakily, or are we, like...
We are just... There's no way to sneak in, I'm assuming. So I think it's going to have to be... We're just going to park the ship above it, and then, I mean, Suri is going to just pop down. Just straight up drop the rope and go.
So after Suri goes, before everyone else goes, and, you know, obviously that's like the signal, like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing that. I just quickly just go to everyone. I think I can see that there's a symbol on on the bandits' clothes. So just pay special attention to that and try and see if you can make out what it is. Because if you recognize it, it might be a clue as to what their motives are. So just look out for that, okay?
I mean, I probably know who they are if I could get a closer look.
If we can see them.
Yeah, if anyone's gonna know, I think Travis would know. So you should keep an eye on that for sure. All right, let's go.
Once I hit the ground, obviously it's gonna jar them, and I just want her to say, "Oh, hello there. Can I help you?"
Oh, you see, you're channeling Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. I love it.
I think so.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm Travis's full panic. I'm full anxiety mode. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Cassandra is going to... what range would you say the two civilians are at?
I would say they are about medium range.
Whatever, let's do it.
So before you do anything, this is now turning into a structured encounter, and now we need a roll for initiative.
Woo!
All right, so everyone, without any difficulty dice, please make a... So everyone, please just make a vigilance check. Okay, cool. So this is the turn order. It's 3 hero slots, 3 villain slots, 3 hero slots, 2 villain slots. As with Fabula in Genesys, it is hero slots. It is not a hard turn order. So who would like to start?
I would like to cast Barrier on these poor civilians whose barrier is slowly failing.
Okay, do you want to add any modifiers to it?
Do I need to add additional target to cover both of them?
Yes,
Okay.
this would need to be a bubble. Also, remember you're casting with your staff, so you get the range effect for free.
Oh.
So you are making a divine skill check.
Whoa.
Fuck.
Okay, wow, what did you roll?
Got 5 successes, 1 threat, and 1 triumph.
Nice.
Jeez.
Wow, all right. So go ahead and open up the,
Effects.
yeah, and go into magic. Tell me how you want to spend your advantage and your triumph.
Ooh, I'm going to add a blue die to the next allied character's check. So whoever would like to make the next move gets a blue die.
And for your threat, you are going to suffer an additional strain. I'm going to say at this point, the adrenaline's running through you, everything's going intense. So instead of taking the normal 2 strain that you would for casting a spell, you're going to take 3 instead. Just because you throw a little bit too much of yourself into the spell. However, the barrier does go up. And the moment your barrier does go up, the man who was holding the barrier up around him and his daughter and the wagon, he immediately falls unconscious.
Aw.
And so he is down for the count. And do remember that barrier is a concentration spell, which means you are going to have to spend a maneuver every turn you want to keep the spell active. So that is something you're going to have to do. Okay, another hero slot up next. Who wants to go next and add that blue die to their roll?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Seeing this, I'll slide down. And how close can I get to these two in their barrier?
Not in one turn, unless you spend 2 strain for an extra advantage.
No, in my one move, how far would I?
Halfway.
About halfway. So a medium question mark.
So you can move 1 range band per maneuver. So right now they're medium distance. So you would go from medium to short.
Medium to short. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him fall. And so I'm going to cast heal, primal heal, try to heal him up a little bit and it's a little girl, right?
Yeah, it's a man and a little girl.
So I'm going to add the additional target. But yeah, I'm going to make that primal roll. So it's 2 success and 2 threat.
All right.
Okay, go ahead and read to me the spell effect and what the successes actually translate into.
Cool. Target recovers 1 wound per uncancelled success and 1 strain per uncancelled advantage. Affects additional target within range and may spend 1 to affect an additional target, but I've already done that with my original spell.
Cool, okay. So it's a little difficult to see through the barrier because light kind of distorts through the magic.
Mhm.
But it looks like the man's all right. He had some superficial wounds that are beginning to close thanks to the magic. And he looks to be fairly okay. Or at the very least, not in immediate danger of dying. However, you did roll 2 threat. So here's what that means for you.
Hit me. Literally.
Just hang on, let me punch you real quick. Here's what I'm going to say. Mike, the magical energy from the smoke and the lightning, because you used primal magic, this hit you in a way you weren't quite expecting. And I'm actually going to, Cassandra, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back in time and offer you this choice because I actually misread how to spend threat. So, both of you, the magical energies exhaust you. You get to choose. Do you suffer 2 strain or do you suffer 1 wound on top of the additional strain you used to cast the spell?
Wound.
I will take the wound as well.
Okay, cool. And Mike, because you had threat, I'm cashing that in again for that. So you get to choose wound or 2 strain.
I'll take another wound.
All right. White mage power activate. The 2 of you, boom, new shield, boom, healing happens. So the new folks are pretty okay overall, it sounds like. There's 1 more hero slot. Who wants to go next?
Suriel would like to jump in, but Suriel would like to ask a question. Can I do that in battle? Is that allowed, or?
Yeah, no, that's called an incidental, and yeah, you can.
Great. So I want Suriel to look at them and go, can I ask what you're doing?
And the bandit leader looks, and he just kind of raises an eyebrow, and he says, "You're a special flavor of stupid, aren't you?"
And Suri looks at him and goes, "Oh, that's the nicest compliment I've gotten all day. I'd like to ask again, what are you doing?"
He just doesn't say anything.
Okay, so she takes out her pistol and asks again.
Make a coercion check for me. So, Suri, you're going to make a coercion check against 2 purples.
Oh, fudge. 2 threat.
All right, so here's what happens.
He was not coerced.
Not only was he not coerced, but now he's kind of pissed at you. So he gets a blue die on his next check. Because you not only do you not do anything from him, but now you're kind of pissing him off. And he looks at you, and he just kind of, he's with eyes locked on you, without like blinking or looking away. He just says to the rest of his men, "Leave her for me. We'll kill her last."
Hot.
It is still your turn, and you do have a gun out.
It's still my turn?
It is still your turn.
I shoot. There's no hesitation. Boom.
All right, cool. So you are going to make a ranged light combat check.
Mm-hmm.
Roll 1 purple, 1 black, and it's the dice pool next to your gun. Ranged light.
Okay. Oh, no. 1 failure, 3 advantage.
Okay, so here's what happens. My favorite phrase to say with this game, I got good news and bad news. So the bad news is you didn't hit him.
Okay.
You fire at him, and he raises his hand, and a magical barrier comes up and just blocks the bullet entirely. However, you get to go over onto the combat skill check on that handy-dandy resource I sent you about all the skill tables. And for a combat check, you get to, you have 3 advantage, so you can grab any effects that you can afford on that table.
Ooh. Okay. So I want to do... Okay, let's negate the target enemy's defense until the end of the current round.
Interesting. Okay, so his reaction time goes up, and his reaction time is fast enough where he was able to bring up the shield when you fired a bullet, because lest we forget, this is an anime game. So the bullet comes out, the shield comes up, however, the barrier comes up and the bullet hits, but then the barrier shatters, and he kind of lets out like a ah as he goes backwards, and now he does not have that range defense buff anymore. But folks, now I've got some bad news. It's bad guy turn. So a group of the golems is going to come over, about 3 of them, and they're coming for Cassandra, because Cassandra's the one who has the barrier up right now. So Cassandra, what's your melee defense?
It's 2.
Okay, so that's 2 success and 3 advantage.
Ouch.
So what's your soak?
2.
Okay, so yikes.
The one phrase you never want to hear from him. Yikes.
Right?
Hey, honey. I've got bad news and bad news.
Oh no.
Okay, how much wound?
8.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Okay, I'm not down yet.
They're robots, and they're coming and punching her, and this woman has no combat experience.
I'm just down to 2 wounds. It's fine. No.
Hang on, what did you say your melee defense was?
2.
Hey, you know what the big problem is?
What?
I'm a goon, and I didn't add any difficulty to
Okay,
this
I was
at all.
wondering about that. I was like, I'm sorry, but what just happened? Okay, so I'm going back to my 10 wounds.
All right, let's try this again.
10 out of 12.
Okay, so they
Sorry.
do not successfully attack you. So how I'm going to narrate that, unless you think of something cooler, is basically while you're channeling the barrier energy, you bring some of it back around to you, and you use it as just basically like a tiny force field, and they're not able to successfully punch through. However, you were not expecting this, and it definitely adds a strain to what you were doing. So not a mechanical strain, but to concentrate on both the attacks on you and keeping the barrier up around them. Your next skill check, you had a black die. So next is another combat check, and this is going to be from some of the minions. Some of the human minions, they are going to come and they're going to rush. And they see, there's still some people who have not come active. And one of them is going to run for Luna first. Because Luna looks the most unassuming, I think. So he probably thinks you're going to be an easy target. So he is going to attack you with a cutlass. What is your melee defense?
I think it's 0, but let me double check. I don't want it to be 0. Yeah, it is 0.
All right, so
I just die, I guess. It's fine.
I just died!
They do manage to get some hits in.
Sick.
Before soak, they hit you for 6 wound. So how much do you take?
So my soak is 4, so just 2, right?
2 damage. So that's not bad.
It's flesh wound.
Yeah, Luna has ninja training, so
yeah.
I imagine they come up and they're hacking, and you don't even have your sticks out yet, so you're just like dodging, and they get like 2. They get like 1 on your cheek,
Got a little slashed. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like it's like that anime smirk as like the single drip of blood comes down your cheek.
Anime bullshit, 100%.
I mean, that's all this game is, frankly. This entire podcast is an excuse to keep doing it over and over. However, go ahead, Megan, and please on the dice result resource page, go ahead and go to combat and select the threat tab for the page. They rolled 2 threat. What bad thing happens to them?
I don't know if this counts as like another move. Could I like trip them up in a way that like throws them off balance, or like they literally like trip?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so like something like that, like just kind of get in their space a little bit or something.
Okay, yeah, like they nick you, but then you hit them with like a chi blast or something.
Yeah.
Like they stumble back a few steps. Totally, I'm here for it. 1 more bad guy slot, gonna attack again, this time going for Tati. This is, again, one of the human bandits. They're coming for you. It's 2. They're coming after you. And what is your melee defense?
My melee defense is 0.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, they don't hit you. All dice cancel out. You successfully hold them off with your punchies. It is very cool.
It's my lucky day. Can I go now?
You can if you absolutely want to.
Okay, great, because that really pissed me off. Okay, cool.
You shouldn't have done that.
Yes, exactly. Gwen is too angsty for this bullshit today. She's not going to have it. And what she does is her gauntlets just activate, both of them at the same time. She sort of flicks her arms down, and they both come into place. Gaiacite knuckle crystals glistening in the light.
Yeah.
She throws her hands up in the air, and 5 ice daggers form in a circle above her head, and she says, "The captain asked you a question," and she throws them
Hell yeah.
at all 5. Now I know this will be a little hard because I'm trying to hit 5 targets, but we'll see if some hit.
So here's how I'm gonna say you do that. Make a magic check and do the attack multiple targets. And this is, I think I'm cool with just flavoring it as ice knives.
Okay.
If you want to add some knife-like qualities to it, I would also add the vicious tag to the spell, the vicious quality. But other than that, I would just say the extra target to see if you actively hit them.
Okay, cool. So this would just be under attack, right?
This is just an attack spell. Unless you want to keep one of the knives around, in which case it would be conjure, but then that would turn into...
like 1 at a time, like in this turn, I can throw a couple and then like keep 2 above my head.
Yeah, but at that point, if you want to do that, it would just be way more effective to just beat them to death with your hands.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might as well throw them all this turn and then just run up and punch the shit out of them my next turn, right? So
yeah, let's flavor that as just an attack. And
great. I'm rolling.
Oh, okay. So that is, what is the base damage of the spell, Gwen?
3.
Cool. So it's 3, and you had 4, 5, 6, 7 damage because you rolled 4 successes, which, good job, kid.
Putting the damn in damage.
That needs to be on a shirt.
It's so good.
All right. Yeah, so we said that was 7. They have Yeah, they're filled with knives. There's a lot of knives in people right now, and they're not particularly happy about it. No, both bandit groups you brought down to 2 wounds. So good, they got 2 health left, so good job on that one.
Awesome.
That's the end of your turn. We've got one more hero slot before it's the bad guys again.
It's me. It's me. And I'm dumbfounded that everyone just jumped off the ship to just plunge into combat. And I'm like, we didn't even discuss anything. Like, these people just like dove in, and I'm like, of course, like, you know, oh, do this, Travis, do that, Travis, but it's never slow down, Captain, think, Captain. So I run to my workbench, assessing the situation, seeing that there's a ton of robots, and I'm like, okay, I look at my Gaia site, like, pile, and I look at, like, my tools and everything, and I want to see if I can clobber up a Magitech EMP, essentially, that I can huck off the side of the ship to disable the robots. That's what I'm going to try to make.
Huh. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right, here's how this is going to go down. This is a combat check. You're still hit by the what the hell is going on of the situation. Your adrenaline's coursing through you, but you do have all the machinery needed. Make a mechanics check against 3 purples and a black.
Oh, shit.
2 success and advantage. Man, okay. There is no proper use of advantage for something like this, so I'm going to say on your next roll, you get a blue die.
Nice.
So you successfully make the grenade. Make a ranged light check to throw it into the fray.
All right. After I duct tape this Gaia site together.
It's like a car battery and like 2 radio antenna.
And then like I just sort of click 2 crystals together and it's like, and I'm like, okay, here goes nothing. I run to the side of the ship. It was a ranged what kind of check?
Ranged light, please.
Against any
2 purples and a black, please.
2 successes and 2 threat. Oh, do I also add a blue die to that, though?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So go ahead and just don't re-roll. Just go ahead and roll a blue die against nothing, and we'll add that check to the result.
Okay.
Okay, so all dice have canceled out on that front. So 2 success and 2 threat. Great news. The bomb works.
Nice.
That's my boy.
So yeah, you lob it over the side and like a raw like blue electrical field, because blue is the neutral color of magic we decided in the setting, rips out over the field and all of the golems collapse. Not dissimilar to the scene at the end of the cinematic masterpiece that is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, where they just all kind of collapse. However, you did roll 2 threat. So I'm going to say that this action, you take 2 strain, is what I'm going to say. That's what happens here. You take 2 strain. So now things are not great. I believe there's 1 character slot left, 1 hero slot.
No, I thought it was the last one.
Megan?
Nope, that's it.
No, Luna, did you go?
No, Luna didn't go.
Oh, Megan. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Luna didn't go.
I got attacked, but I didn't get to go.
I got attacked.
There is still the leader just kind of there being an asshole.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, that is what he's doing.
I want to try the thing that we had talked about where if I throw my chakrams, they can come back.
They could theoretically come. You could do a Captain America Daredevil style trick shot with your Eskrima.
I want to try it really bad.
So on your equipment sheet, there should be a profile for the throne version.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll that. Oh yeah, Suri got rid of this guy's defense, so he has no range defense.
Oh, yeah.
So this straight up is just a 1 purple check.
Has anyone used the blue die either or no?
Someone has used it, yeah.
So just 1 purple? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to work. I'll be really sad about it. Oh shit, it worked!
So here's what happens. You don't hurt him.
Oh!
Because you didn't roll any successes. You rolled 4 advantage. So here's
that's all you need.
You need that for it to get back to you and into your hand, but you don't actually deal any damage to him.
He ducked.
That's all I wanted to do. So
Just trying to disorient him. you
Yeah,
know?
so here's...
yeah, it does disorient.
Yeah, you can hit him for disorient. So, yeah, well done. And so basically what winds up happening is you throw your stick at him and he, brings up his magic to try and block it again. And what winds up happening is he brings up his hand, the barrier is there, but the impact to his hand still happens and it hits him in the head. His own hand, propelled by the stick, hits him in the head, and your stick then bounces from that off of a tree and then back into your hand.
Sick.
He is now disoriented and he adds a black die to his roll. It is now his turn. He's realizing this is becoming much more costly. So what winds up happening is you see on his head there is a small crown of silver. And the silver lights up and he places his hand on the ground and all of a sudden a runic summoning circle appears. And out of it crawls a massive plant monster. This thing is maybe 20 feet high. It's basically Audrey 2, but more tentacles, is what I'm saying. So with a lot more...
I was gonna say piranha plant.
So it's just a combination of the Sarlacc and
Audrey 2,
Venus
yes.
5 flytrap.
Yes, correct.
Damn.
Thanks again for the Star Wars reference, babe. Love you. But yeah, and so when it does this, the sudden discharge of magic... Sharon, go ahead. I need you to make a divine magic check to see if your barrier stays up.
Damn it. Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and make a divine magic check versus 3 reds.
I also, if anyone remembers, still have a black die for my next roll.
Here we go.
Oh, God. So this is not gonna work.
Okay, so the barrier shatters. Your shield completely goes down.
I just got a threat.
And so with that threat, do you take 2 strain or 1 wound?
I'm gonna go with the strain, because I had that wound scare earlier.
Cool. So you take the strain, the plant monster comes, the barrier goes down, and the bandit leader gives a sharp whistle, and all the bandits start following him, and he hops in the wagon, and they pull out of there like a bat out of hell, directly using the plant monster as a direct barrier between you and following them. So now it's plant monster turn. So plant monster is going to roar, and it is going to go after you, Cassandra, because it saw you. Your magic is what attracted it the most. It felt the barrier go up when it came out. So it is going to attack you with its thorny vines, and you have melee defense 2, yes?
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. 2 success, 1 advantage. You take 6 wound, but apply soak to that first, whatever your soak is. And it also rolled an advantage, so it gets a blue die on its next roll. So the good news is that literally all of you are going to get to go again before its turn, because all the other combatants have gone out.
Great.
You can wipe it out.
Yes. Destroy this thing. Wipe this meme from the face of the earth. That's a Metal Gear Solid 4 reference. Metal Gear Solid 4 is a video game. Okay, whoever wants to go.
I'll go. Okay, so I see this big ol' plant guy, and I'm close the distance. And since the barrier's gone, I stand over this guy and this little girl, and I'm gonna try to attack this plant monster. I'm gonna use my primal, and I'm gonna add the fire element to it.
That is valid. However, you could draw a rune of fire on the ground and use that to attack if you felt so inclined.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah.
And you would have a much larger dice pool if you felt so inclined.
No, yeah. I was just trying to think of
I'm just telling you what is efficient in the meta. You don't have to listen to me.
Oh, actually, you know what? Because it's bombed area, but it's dirt, right, around here?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like take 2 fingers and I just start drawing a rune like in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I connect the whole rune with like a giant circle around the 3 of us. And I snap my fingers and bursts to flames, and it flies over to him, but it most importantly has like a little flame barrier around all us.
All right, so that's going to be a rune spell that's going to have the burn quality, and I believe that's it. So that should be just your...
What range should that also be?
Short. It's close enough where it's an issue still. What'd you roll?
4 success and 1 advantage.
Ooh, okay, so not enough to set the thing on fire.
Yeah.
However, what is the base damage on that spell?
It is 3.
All right, so 3. So you hit it for 7 damage. It only has 2 soak, so it takes 6 damage. Congratulations, your fire blast put it to half health.
Nice.
All right, who wants to go next?
No, go ahead, Gwen.
Gwen, go ahead. You're the tank.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Gwen's just kind of like, oh, come on, are you kidding me? Plant monster, like low blow. And so she's going to do, some anime bullshit and sort of jump from her position up into the air, like above the plant monster, and rain down on him with some punches. Some fire punches, because those are free. Plus,
yes.
Fire beats grass, baby. So she's going to go down in there and try to do that. So I already have my stuff planned out and picked out. Is there anything else I need to add other than fire, which is free? Oh, I'm also adding blast. I forgot to add that. I'm trying to quite literally set it on fire.
Yeah, you're trying to blow this thing to hell.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Damn.
Exactly. I'm trying to burn it down.
Gwen is choosing the genocide route of this particular playthrough. It's okay, you can't commit war crimes against monsters. So,
that's how it works.
Okay, so Gwen, what is your brawn attribute?
4.
And what is the number next to your gauntlets? What does it say? Plus what?
+3.
+3. And you rolled 2 success. So you just dealt 9 damage.
Ooh.
What a combo. So Atlas White throws this fireball at this thing, and it reels up, and it looks up, and it just sees you in the air, already above it, and then you just start punching, fire going everywhere, and you reduce this thing to mulch.
Yeah.
You beat this thing down into submission, and it lets out a horrible screeching cry as it dies. However, you do take 2 strain.
That's fine. That's fair.
You've had a long day. I was expecting that to go much longer. I was not expecting the magic EMP.
I got you. Smart. Thank you. Don't mean to toot my own horn.
Congratulations, gang. You defeated the monster.
Woo!
Tati, you are currently standing in the smoldering plant ruins of this horrible monstrosity that this bandit summoned. Somewhere in the multiverse, Poison Ivy sheds a tear and she doesn't know why.
That's hot.
Did you say that's hot? Is that what you said? Did I hear
Not
you?
so much that last part, so much as me standing in the ruin of my enemies.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about, Poison Ivy crying. And I was like, I'm not going to yuck your yum, but I'm just a little surprised.
We can unpack that later in a different podcast.
It's another episode.
We'll unpack that on your podcast, Tati. I'll be the next guest. Yeah. Okay. So that's the situation. Atlas, you are closest to the guy and his little girl. The guy's unconscious.
Yeah, so I snap my fingers, and all the fire just dies. And I go to the man. I know some amount of first aid, I believe.
You can roll medicine if you want.
Yeah, I got 4 green medicines. What do I roll against?
2 perps, please.
Ooh, 3 advantage.
Go ahead and pick 3 advantage from the, there should be a medicine table, is there not? Yeah, there isn't. Oh, no, that's right. He just recovers 3 strain, which fortunately is what you need to regain consciousness.
Oh, sweet.
So he blinks back up, and you see he's blurry. I should probably describe these two. So the man is maybe 5'5", 5'6", and he has he has a young face that looks old. Like, this is a guy who, he's young, but he has been through so much shit. Just so much garbage. And he has kind of a chestnut brown hair and hazel eyes. And the little girl is maybe 11 years old, maybe 12, somewhere in there. And she has curly dark hair. And she has this face that is just a little too smart. You know what I mean? Like, this is a kid who you can just kind of tell is a little too rambunctious, a little too uppity, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's the two of them. And she has these blue eyes, and she's over this man. And she's kind of shaking him awake, and she's just like, Papa? Papa? And he's like coming out of it, and he's like, I'm all right, Lily. I'm all right. I'm all right. And he kind of starts coming to, and he's blinking. Atlas, you kind of help him sit up, and he looks around, and like he sees Gwen panting, sweating in the ruins of the plant monster. He sees Luna with the cut on her cheek, just kind of stoically being the anime Lancer. There's an airship, and the captain is there. Travis is poking his head over the banister,
sweating.
And there is the honest to God speaker for the teacher. And he's just like, what? What is happening?
Looks like you guys are on the bad end of a business deal, huh?
What? I can't hear you.
Looks like you guys were. Oh, fuck it. And I jump down off the ship and I repeat myself.
And he says, do they refer to cowardly ambushes as business deals now?
Well, if you're where I'm from. And I just sort of give a chuckle.
He kind of smiles at that, and he says, thank you. There's no way I could possibly repay your debt. My name is Garrett Anders. This is my daughter, Lily. And she kind of like waves, and she's just like, hello. She is weirdly unfazed.
I was that kid.
She's just totally like, hey, what's up?
What's the last name? Garrett and Lily?
Anders. Anders.
Anders.
May I ask what was in the wagons?
His face kind of becomes grim, and he says, well, for them, there was many different things. Food, medical supplies. Most of what we've been doing has been relief effort for those who've been displaced from the water levels rising, entire villages completely emptied. But what I was specifically carrying were magical regents for potion creation. With the amount that I was carrying, if they knew what they were doing, they could be a very, very, very real problem for the region with the amount of stuff I had. And if they didn't, they have a very, very, very large bomb.
Were you selling this stuff, or is this your own private supply?
He nods. He says, I'm an alchemist by trade. I was actually on our way. We were heading across the border to head our way into the Empire.
And the men who attacked you, are they familiar?
He shrugged, and he's just like, these parts are only getting more and more dangerous. As I said, more people are displaced, which means often towns are being used as bandit hideouts. They loot whatever is there, or simply use it as a safe boundary to launch attacks at it for any travelers that may be in the region. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a town not far from here that they've actually holed up in. Though that's only a guess on my part.
Gwen leans over to Travis and whispers to him, do you recognize the symbols that were on the bandits' clothes?
Since I was on the ship, I don't think I got a good look.
You did not.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can check out the landscape, so to speak, to see if, I don't know, if there's any remnants. I know that Suri shot the bandit leader, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe he dropped something with his insignia on it. So,
you know what? There is a handy-dandy mechanic that you could use for that.
I think I will. I'm going to spend
Story point.
Story point. And wouldn't you know it, right? Where Suri shot. There is, let's say like a piece of his equipment has the insignia on it, and I can get a better look at it.
Sure. So you pick it up, and it is the insignia. You would know this right away. These guys, they're called the Blood Kraken Band. And these guys are one of the larger kind of like mercenary and bandit organizations that is outside the direct control of the Altitude Exchange. So these guys are technically unaffiliated. They do what they want when they want to, and they're not to be messed with. Like, these guys are basically a private army unto themselves, and they're pretty darn mean to boot. So yeah, that's what you recognize. They're from the Blood Krakens.
Well, I do recognize the symbol. Done some work growing up, obviously. It's the Blood Kraken gang, and they are, they're pretty tough sons of bitches, I'll say that. I look at the two, I forget, Lily and
Garrett.
I look at Lily and Garrett, and I just say, you guys are lucky to be alive on the end of this, huh?
And he smiles and he says, I picked up a little bit of magic on my trip, and thankfully I remember that spell, and I was able to keep it up for as long as I could. There really is no way that we can repay our debt to you. Please, everything we own was in that wagon. And if there was anything else I could give you, quite sincerely, if you would like the shirt off my back, I'd be willing to give it to you. But
I put my hand up and I say, no, we don't want your money. We don't want anything. Just the fact that you're safe is enough payment for us.
And he kind of nods and he smiles and he says, well, perhaps we could come to an arrangement. The young master there said that he was used to doing odd jobs, it sounded like. What if I were to hire you all to reclaim my wagon?
How much? Oh, no, wait, you don't have any money. You know what? Take it back. Take it back.
I would only be able to pay you upon reclamation, but I would be willing to give you the profits of everything that I was carrying.
I sort of like pull Suri aside, and I'm like, and I just sort of like lean over and I'm like, I wave and just say like, signal like, give us a moment to discuss. I'm like, that's a lot of precious material that we could use and distribute.
I agree. Yes.
So like I say, instead of, I'm a profit guy. I like cash, me, but I think in this scenario, we just take a little bit of what he's got.
I agree. I think that's a great idea. We don't need the cash at the moment. We're doing fine with Cassandra and Gwen, so I think we should ask for that.
So before they have a chance to say anything else.
Oh, no.
Cassandra just magnanimously sort of raises her hands and says, no, we won't take any sort of payment at all. We've got to do this anyway. We've got to free the people from the tyranny of these bandits.
I want Suri to come up and put her arm around Cassandra and be like, so what she meant to say...
Are you talking to me when you say this, Suri?
No, we're talking to Garrett. And I go, what she meant to say was we won't take any money from you, but we would like to have a look at your supplies and maybe take some of that instead.
He thinks about this for a second, and he nods, and he says, more than fair. Whatever you need to keep your equipment up and running and anything additional to fill up your medicinal supplies, consider it yours if you're able to regain the wagon.
I reach out and I go to shake his hand.
He takes it and he shakes, and then he kind of clears his throat as though he feels he's made some sort of mistake, and he looks at Cassandra and he says, I wouldn't consider myself a member of the religion you represent, madam, but I do recognize that not only have you saved me and my daughter in every way that is possible and putting up that barrier when I barely had enough strength in me, but I also recognize that you are an important official and you did not have to do any of that. Surely you have a tremendous amount of important activities that you are obligated to complete, and I thank you for being willing to put those on hold for the sake of me and mine. And he gives you like a little bow.
Aw.
She's going to give a little curtsy and then just say, by the teachings of the great teacher, these are the things I am supposed to protect. So it is not about how great or small something is. I am the healer. I come to heal. I come to teach, to explain. I hope you will learn much in this lifetime, and I'm glad to have been of service.
And when you say that phrase, I hope you learn much in this lifetime, there's a moment where he gets, maybe like for a flicker of a second, you see in his eyes, he just gets really sad. Like, he just gets really sad for a second. Like, you reminded him of something, maybe. But it just really hit him. And it's only there for a flicker of an instant, but then it's gone. And he smiles, and he gives another little bow. While all of this is happening, Lily is running around and jumping around Gwen.
Yes.
In the fact that she's in this mulch pile, and she's looking at you, she just goes, "Holy shit, you were in the air and you were punching fire and you totally killed that thing, and my papa's alive because of you. Can you teach me how to do that? Papa said he won't teach me any magic. Could you teach me? Ow, wow!" Like, she is just losing her goddamn mind, like, running around you.
I just give her a good old shake of the hair and say, I like you. Sure, I'll teach you some stuff.
Oh my god, we're gonna have another Suri.
Suri, but a combat mage. Good god.
A combination of me and Suri. What the party needs.
Is he standing now? They're standing. They're like, they're.
He doesn't look great. He's standing, but he doesn't look great. He's pretty pale and a little wobbly, but he's cognizant and he's able to, talk to y'all.
I take out like a little rollie and like I roll a little cigarette and I offer it to him.
Aw.
He politely declines. And he calls to Lily and he's just like, "Lily, stop bothering the poor girl. She just saved our lives. The least you can do is give her a breath." And she looks over at him and she kind of like huffs, like just indignantly, which Gwen is in some ways kind of like looking in a mirror for you.
100%.
But she does come back and
problem child solidarity.
she comes over and something that actually surprises all of you is remember, this guy's like 5'6", and she's maybe a little shorter, but she hops and he immediately like catches her.
Aw.
And so he's like got her in his arms right now. And he looks up and you see his face kind of gets a little grave, and he says, "The sun's setting. If it's not too much to ask for a bit more of your generosity, would it be at all possible for Lily and I to take shelter in your ship for the evening? And perhaps..."
I light my cigarette and take a humongous drag after he says that.
And he says, we'll happily stay in whatever quarters you would desire for the duration of the evening. Just our protective measures were in the wagon. And perhaps attacking at first light when you don't also have to worry about encroaching monsters may be a more sound strategy than chasing after it now. And he kind of is very apologetic as he's saying all of this.
I want Suri to shoot a glance at Travis, like, is this cool? Like, are you cool with this?
Seeing the destruction that has been wrought and these people have nothing but the clothes on their backs, and I'm like, the ship comfortably sleeps 5. We have 6. You will be 8. So come on aboard.
Hey, my man.
All right, cool. Is there anything anyone else would like to do in this scene, or we can cut to the evening?
I think we can cut to the evening.
Cool. So Garrett may not have, any food or anything right now. However, Garrett is an alchemist, and that fortunately extends to his famous Java potion. And so he takes your guys' coffee set and he makes, without question, the greatest coffee that you have ever had in your entire life, to the point, in canon, every other time you have coffee now for the rest of your life, there's going to be a small part of your heart that's a little bummed. Because nothing else can. This is like,
I'm gonna learn from this man. alchemy. I know that.
And, you know, he tries to show you. But at this point, it's one of those things where it's so ingrained in muscle memory, it's actually difficult to kind of like explain what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I get
But you notice with each step, there actually is a bit of magic in his hands. Like as he's doing it, as he's making this. And he kind of shrugs and he's just like, I'm rubbish in a straight fight, but potions, I know.
Oh, you wild and crazy kids.
So everyone's kind of quiet, and Garrett actually, you know, everyone's kind of enjoying their coffee or whatever, and Lily is, you know, now asking Cassandra a never-ending flow of questions about, like, what God's like, and which one of her tattoos is her favorite, and can you show me how to make a shield? Dad won't teach me anything. And it's mostly just her badgering people to teach her magic, really. But Garrett actually goes up to Gwen, and he's just like, may I speak to you in private for a moment?
Yes, of course.
And he kind of, to the stern of the ship, just clearly where, like, you two are away. And he looks at you, and you finally really get a sense who this man is as you look into his eyes. This man is tired. This is a very tired man. He is weary from a long burden, and he is burdened with knowledge that he never wanted to learn. And he is looking at you, and very, very quietly, he says to you, I can feel their magic on you. I know they tried to speak to you. Before you say anything, I swear I won't tell your friends. This is not an attack. This is not me trying to threaten or blackmail you. But I feel it. I feel their magic on you. And I wanted to know if are me and my little girl going to be safe on this ship?
I don't know. I can promise you that we will do everything to protect you if something goes wrong, but to be honest, I'm not sure how safe you are, or how safe any of us are for that matter. How do you know? How have you sensed this? Have you been touched by them as well?
Make a perception check for me. 2 reds and a purple.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Okay, so I was just checking to see for a success failure. But basically what he says to you is, I have been all around the world more times than I can count. I've tried to help people on every continent there is, and I have been quite close to the Maelstrom. And between being as close as I felt safe to that energy, and between fighting blight every day of my life, sometimes it feels, or seeing people fall from them, I know its touch. And I've never seen it affect someone like you, not in this way. How did it happen? We're nowhere near the sea, we're nowhere near where the Maelstrom is. How, if you don't mind me asking, how did this happen?
Well, all that my friends know is that in the last city we were in, there was a man, a sort of hooded figure, at this party that we were crashing, and he did something to me, and I could just tell it was him. He didn't touch me, he wasn't anywhere near me, but I could just tell. And now I have this. And I turn around and I show him the mark on my neck, and I say, they all know about this, but they don't know that he tried to contact me in my dreams that night. And I'm afraid to tell them because, well, I'm afraid they'll be afraid of me. And I'm not someone to back down from a fight, but there's something calling me to the Maelstrom, and I've never been this scared in my life.
He nods, and he reaches out, and he puts a hand on your shoulder. And in a lot of ways, this is a gesture from the father you always wanted. And it's that weight and that warmth and a core of power and strength. And he puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, fear leads to the most terrible things. The most terrible things people can do, ultimately, are rooted in fear. And if this scares you, if these things reach out to you and are speaking to you, If you let that fear dictate your actions, you will become isolated and alone. And when we are alone, we are vulnerable. Whatever this entity, I have to admit this is a little beyond my area of expertise, but whatever this thing is, whatever it wants from you, the only way you're going to be able to say no is if you have allies. And I think perhaps not everyone on the crew, but at least one person that you know you can rely on should know. If for no other reason than if this thing compels you to do something that you are not prepared to do, then someone needs to be prepared in terms of a defense.
You're right, but what if they don't trust me anymore? What if they think I'm working with them, or I'm cursed, or that I'm gonna hurt them? I'm just so afraid that they'll abandon me. I can't go back.
He gives you a sad, small smile, and he says, life is vulnerability, and these are people through which you have, in your case, quite literally gone through fire with. And if anything else from what I saw today, these are not people to run simply because things are strange. And because life is vulnerability, it simply isn't a matter of protecting yourself from that hurt. It's not that you will be rewarded for being vulnerable. You are vulnerable. And if you keep people at arm's length, ultimately you'll have no defense for when they leave. But let me ask you this. Say, for example, Atlas. Something like this was happening to him. Something touched him and spoke to him. And he didn't tell you for however long, and then something happened, something bad. And you knew in your heart that maybe just being there, you could have been the difference. You could have been the dividing line between Atlas being in control or someone else. Wouldn't you want to know?
Gwen just looks at him very grateful, and she says nothing else other than, thank you.
He pulls you into a hug.
Aw.
And she accepts gladly. She really needed it. And as she hugs him, like, you know, when like you're holding back tears and then someone hugs you and then it just
of course, yeah.
So that's what happens to her. And in her head, I think she's like still really afraid, but she's thinking to herself, like, I needed to hear that. And I think I just was waiting for someone to tell me that, you know, that, or someone to find out on their own so that I wouldn't have to be the one to like break it. But she makes the mental or conscious decision in her head to tell Cassandra and Atlas first and separate, just because she wants to play it safe for now.
He strokes your back as you're crying, and he does that dad thing where he's just holding you really close. He gives nice hugs. They're very, you know, he's let me put it like this. He's built small, but it's like he's optimized for hugging, right? So like every muscle is involved in this hug.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and he just gives you like this full, complete squeeze hug, and he's just, you know, wiping your back, and he waits until you kind of like get your breath back from the crying, and he pulls away from you a little bit, and he smiles. And he leans in to your ear and he whispers very gently, in your dreams, if it comes to you again, if something like this tries to communicate, focus on the one thing you believe makes you, you. Visualize it, manifest it, and it may offer some kind of shield. I don't know how strong this thing is. I don't know if it will even provide much more than a snowdrift for it to walk through, but it's how I've resisted some psionic attacks in the past. It may benefit you. And he pulls out from whispering in your ear, and he gives you a smile. He squeezes your shoulders, and then he kind of goes over and he scoops up Lily while she's mid asking Cassandra a question, and she kind of lets out a surprised shriek and a giggle. At this point, Lily is hugging on to Garrett again. It's kind of hilariously disproportionate, but it's not heavy for him at all. He's fine. You kind of approach him and he kind of like looks at you just like, yeah, what's up?
All right. We have to go through your ship orientation since you are going to be members of our crew. I just need to let you know several rules that we have aboard the vessel. Also, we need to work out the semantics of your stay. First of all, as soon as we get your wagon, you're out on the road again. Okay? No ifs, ands, or buts.
Agreed.
We saved your ass once, so don't want to save it again. Okay, number 2. Here are the rules of the ship. There are 4 rules, okay? The first is, you listen to the captain. What she says goes around here, okay? It's yes, ma'am, yes, captain, yes, sir, I don't know. All those are applicable. Number 2, do not touch my stuff. If I see you touching my stuff, you're out. I'm throwing you overboard. Number 3, do not touch the ship's livery. Okay, can we cut that real quick?
Oh, hell no.
Number 3, do not touch any dangerous weapons on the ship without the proper consent of myself or the captain. And number 4, do not touch my stuff. Are we absolutely clear?
Garrett nods. He's taking this, like, he understands that you're serious and he understands, like, this is important to you and he's kind of taking with this, but he's also like, yeah, okay, cool, got it. That's kind of like his attitude. And Lily is just glaring at you and then kind of in like a bratty voice, she's just like, what was rule number 4 again?
I glare at her and I go, welcome to the Wren. And I like just sort of walk off.
And Garrett kind of like swats her shoulder over that. He's just, and you can hear him as you're walking away. You can hear him say, "Be nice." But yeah, so from there, and the camera pulls back, and I'm assuming the Wren is like, the Wren is on the ground
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, and the shroud is up.
No, it's grounded.
Yeah, cool. So you see, we pull the camera back, and there's a shadow moving in the dark, and it detaches itself seemingly from the side of the ship, and it moves through, and it walks through the shroud, the barrier protecting the ship, just as it ripples around her, and the shadow drops, and it's Zelda Blint. And Zelda, at this point, we really get a sense of how she looks in her raw form without the illusion that y'all saw her under. And she is cybernetic. She's got a ton of Magitech cybernetics around her. One entire arm and both hands are prosthetics. She has a cybernetic eye that's just a glinting blue Gaiacite stone instead of an eyeball. And you see she pulls out a small mirror that is runed, and the frame, like the mirror frame, I think that's the correct word. It's covered in runes, and she whispers a word of power into it, and it lights up. And in the other end of the mirror, we see Henry Magasin, and Zelda speaks, and she says, "They will be here for a time. There is complications I did not foresee. I believe I will have Godwin in tow, but may need to add additional fee. I may have to end up killing a child to accomplish it."
Oh.
And that is where we are ending tonight's session.
Oh my god, dude.
I'm gonna have to kill a child. Just like, no big deal. I want to see Lily wreck Travis. I want to see Lily.
Oh, I'm Lily, and I'm so much better than you. Ah.
Like, she does that little sibling thing where she, like, knows you're dividing line, and she's always just like, I'm not touching you, I'm not over the line. Like, she's just doing, like, really irritating stuff. But, yeah. Okay, gang. Great time. I loved it. Magnificent. You listening at home, I hope this was fun for you. I am going to carry over the MVP and quote-unquote best roleplay. I believe it's called best representation or best example. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wanna have those awards. As always, the winners of the awards get bonus XP. You vote for them. I do not have a say in the vote. So first things first, MVP. This is who do you think mechanically helped out the best? Who do you think had the most efficient or best way of using the mechanics of the game in order to help you approach your objective.
I say Gwen.
I was gonna say Travis because that EMP was like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say Travis too, actually. Yeah.
I definitely want to say Travis.
You know what? Yeah, that EMP was ridiculous.
I mean, he saved us all those enemies.
Well, oh shucks, guys.
I mean, I took down a monster, but you took down more.
Tyler, congratulations. You're the winner of the MVP award. You will get a boost in experience points at Next Level Up.
Woo.
All right. And next, embodiment. Who do you think embodied their character the best? Who do you think had some strong role-playing moments?
I was
Gwen.
gonna say I think we all had a really strong roleplay session for all of our characters. Like I'm not gonna base this necessarily off of like, oh, who was like the most embodiment of their character, because I really do feel like we're hitting a groove and stride. But I will say I'm voting for Gwen because that scene was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Thank you, guys.
Tati, congratulations. You win the embodiment award. You will get a bonus XP.
Yay!
I would also like to give a shout out to Sunhawk for having quite literally a thrice and done moment for what are you doing? Thrice I ask and done, and then you shot him. It was a perfect, I kind of get the sense that in many ways, Suri is an 80s action hero trapped in a steampunk setting, and it felt very on brand. I was very pleased with that. Also, Luna getting that trick shot was also awesome. Really appreciated that. Overall, thank you so much at home for listening. I'm super excited to get you guys where this adventure is going. We are starting to lay the groundwork. I would say we're about... at this point, I would say we're maybe about a quarter of the way through the first major story arc. We're trucking along. If you're listening in at home, feel free to reach out to us on our social media. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. And in the meantime, until you tune in again, be well, my friends. We will talk soon.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to A Troupe of Players, an actual play podcast, featuring the talents of Tatiana Bustamante, Megan Denning, Michael Jones, Alex Koza, Tyler Lynch, Chris Maclean, and Sharon Ray Ryan. Editing for this episode was provided by Mitchel Shire. Our logo was designed by Coleman Connell. Fabula Ultima is developed by Rooster Games. It is scheduled for release in 2022 and will be published by Need Games. This podcast uses playtest materials and may not reflect the official rules upon release. The setting and characters of this podcast should not be considered canon for any official Fabula Ultima content. For more information on the game, please visit www.needgames.it or www.fabulaultima.com. That's FABULAULTIMA.com. If you would like to support the development of Fabula Ultima, go to www.patreon.com/roosteremma. That's patreon.com/roosterema.com. Reach out to us on Instagram or TikTok for more information on the cast, crew, or lore of the game at A Troupe of Players, or send us an email at atroupeofplayers@gmail.com. That's at ATROUPE of Players.